your preparation strategy for JEE 2021. I'm your host for the evening and will be moderating the discussion today. We are joined here today by Mr. Ajay Sharma, the National Academic Director at Aakash IIT JEE. He's also a distinguished chemistry faculty and has more than 16 years of experience in teaching and mentoring students for engineering entrance examinations. A very warm welcome, sir.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am, for giving this opportunity.
Also joining us today is none other than Mr. Chirag Falor, a name that the entire nation is acquainted with. Chirag secured All India Rank 1 in IIT JEE Examination 2020 with an incredible score of 352 out of 396. He's currently studying at the United States Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT, one of the most prestigious tech institutions in the world. He is also a Bal Shakti Puraskar awardee, the highest award for Indian civilian under the age of 18. Chirag was one of the 60 outstandingly talented students selected for the Pradhan Mantri Innovative Learning Program group. Chirag also won 2 gold medals for India at the prestigious 13th International Olympiad on Astronomy and Astrophysics, and the list goes on. A very warm welcome, Chirag. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
So in today's session, we will talk about the strategy to crack JEE, understand the role of NCERT when it comes to JEE, and learn about how to manage school studies along with JEE preparation. We have already received a lot of questions from many of you who are joining us today. So thank you for your questions. We'll be happy to take any additional questions if possible during the webinar. You can share them in the comment section below. Now, without further ado, let's get started with the session. Chirag, you scored All India Rank 1 in JEE Advanced. Our viewers are eagerly awaiting to hear about your preparation strategy for JEE.
So my preparation strategy of JEE could be broken down in different parts. So one of the main important facts was I started early for preparing for, not for preparing for JEE, but for preparing for other Olympiads like Junior Science Olympiad or some other competitive exams. So I basically covered a bit of 11th and 12th syllabus and 9th and 10th respectively. So I could get an edge over when I actually came in 11th and 12th. So that I could just learn the material in more depth when I was relearning it again. So early start helped me a lot in JEE preparation. And also I could have enough time to finish early and then revise. So that was beneficial for me because I could now revise and learn new material in more depth, which was not covered in the first study session. And also, my study schedule was basically, my study pattern was basically some part of JEE while I was also doing other Olympiads, and the Olympiads actually reinforced in JEE preparation. So that also helped me. And yeah, these were some of the key factors which helped me in JEE preparation.
So definitely we can conclude that first of all, starting early is which gave you edge over your peers, then your study schedule which you followed, and the strategy which was there, of course. Ajay sir, as an academician, teacher, and a mentor, what would you like to add something over here?
Yeah, thank you, ma'am, for this question. I observed Chirag in last 4 years when preparation start, and 11th, 12th directly mentored by our national academic team. So we observe these are 3 major qualities in Chirag, and I think these are common qualities and all students should focus on these qualities. Number 1, focus. So what is your goal and target? So you have to focus on that particular goal. Like suppose if you want to prepare for the JEE Advanced and other Olympiads, and then make a stick on that, and you should prepare accordingly. And second thing is your right mindset. So if your mindset is the positive, then it will motivate you automatically on daily, weekly, monthly, or throughout the year, because The journey is not very small. The journey is very long, and it's some students started like Chirag started earlier in the 9th and 10th classes, and few students start in 11th and 12th class. So it's a 2 3 4 year journey. So motivating yourself need a right mindset how you will prepare for the exam. And the second, the quality I observe in Chirag, he was a very focused student. Means what he has planned, and what he make a strategy for particular Olympiad or particular exams, JEE Main, JEE Advanced, and other national and international Olympiad. So he was very focused, and he make a strategy the time before, or you can say month before of any exam, and already he was in a right directional. And third thing was I observed in Chirag, that was a consistency. That is very important thing. Student need a very consistent on particular system. Like suppose if you join the coaching classes, then there's a separate system apart from the school. Then you have to follow the system of coaching institute or teacher guideline. So these three major things: focus, consistency, and the right mindset. Apart from that, the important thing is how you utilize your time. So Chirag is a very particular, and he utilized the entire time in a right manner. What the sleeping cycle, what is the other activity, and what the study time, all he managed very well. So focus, consistency, time management, and the right mindset will help you to achieve your rank.
Very well said, sir. So moving on to the next question. Chirag, you were among the first ever batch of students who prepared online for JEE. How did you prepare during the pandemic? What challenges you faced and how did you overcome them?
Thank you for this question. So, the main challenge was because we were the first batch, it was the uncertainty of the exam because it was getting postponed like each month to the next month. So it was quite uncertain as to how to structure our preparation. And it also got quite tedious to work for those extra months because uh like after the long haul of 2 years of preparing just for JEE, almost all people think that it should get over right away, and then it was getting postponed, which made it quite tedious and difficult to focus on JEE and remember like the concepts learned in the last 2 years for quite long. There was also fatigue from online classes, which was new at that time. So what I actually did was, while giving revision tests to keep in touch with JEE, I also studied my other academic interests, which are not directly related, but which I find fun, like maybe Olympiad math or just undergrad curriculum, so that I could not get bored while preparing for JEE near the end. And as the date was being postponed, I could still remain focused towards the better near the end or just near the exam, so that I could I could give my best when I'm near the exam. And also, when the date of exam came closer, I started revising topics through books or started giving harder tests. I could also focus on uh, testing myself in the same time period as JEE, so that I could make myself habitual to that time schedule. And there was also many mock tests. I gave regular mock tests like maybe once in 2 days. So that was pretty helpful in the revising just before the final exam.
That was very informative, Chirag. A lot of students are currently in the same scenario, and your inputs are definitely going to help them prepare for JEE 2021. So, Ajay sir, as we all are in the similar situation again, like last year due to the pandemic, and with educational institutions closed, what is the best way for students to prepare during the lockdown?
I can say here that additional time is always opportunity. Like suppose if any student appearing in exam and he's getting extra 15 minutes to finish the paper, so they get advantage. So similar in situation, due to lockdown, the exam going to postpone 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, is still not decided. So this is the extra additional time. So when we get the additional time, then we have to introspect ourselves. What I learned or what we learned in last 1 or 2 year, and what the things are pending. And like suppose if educational institute are conducting the test online, then you have a sufficient time to review your papers and focus on your errors. Like suppose any paper you are attempting and you are getting some errors or maybe conceptual mistake, or you can say some calculation error, so you can improve your ability how to improve your accuracy. So in final exam you can perform better. And lockdown is a new normal for everyone, and I think nobody is moving here and there. So it's a great opportunity to revise the entire syllabus, whatever the material provided by the coaching institute, textbook, like the basic textbooks are the NCERT. So you have to revise as much as possible and introspect academic level, so you can perform better in coming days or when the exam is coming.
Thank you for the great tips, sir. So now moving on, Chirag, you performed phenomenally in boards as well as in JEE Advanced. So would you like to share your secret of managing both with our JEE aspirants?
So basically, boards are actually well placed time-wise because JEE Advance happens decently later on than boards. So I could actually like focus on boards and not do JEE and Olympiads, like keep the JEE and Olympiad preparation aside and just focus on boards for like 6 weeks or something, to just to get in the mindset of board without leaving the other preparations just for long enough. And also afterwards, there's a lot of time to get back to the JEE mindset or Olympiad mindset. So for board specifically, I did past year papers are quite good. They're also good model test papers for. So I was CBSE board, so there are decently model test papers for the all of the subjects. I also took many subjective writing tests so that I could improve my subjective writing skill or the skill required for boards, which is not the NJ. And yeah, the time devoted was 6 weeks. So 6 weeks I only prepared for boards, leaving all other preparations aside. So being focused on the current or next exam helped me a lot rather than switching back and forth between times.
Oh, so thank you, Chirag. That was very, very informative for students who are currently preparing for boards, 12th boards, as well as JEE. So, Ajay sir, often we have seen students struggle while managing school studies with JEE preparation. What would be your advice to them?
So, as Chirag well said, prepare for the board exam. It's not a big task, because student they are studying for the coaching classes, JEE Main and JEE Advanced, and the syllabus is mostly overlapping. If I talk about the CBSE student, then almost all the NCERT concept are covering in a JEE preparation as well. So if you are preparing for JEE, then your concept are already stronger, and you revise many times throughout the 2 year, 4 year journey. So if you, in this kind of situation, when the lockdown is there and there's no fixed date for the board exam till now, and exam postponed. So in this kind of situation, you can keep both the things parallelly. You have to devote the 1 or 2 hours for the board exam, because the concept are same, only you need the extra writing practice for the board preparation. And already Chirag shared the experience for the past year papers. So past year papers play very important role, because all kind of the concept you learn already in last 2 year preparation. And for board, you have to focus on past year papers. So because the similar kind of the questions always repeat in a subjective, because there's no application based questions, there's a straightforward questions. You need a stepwise writing practice, as well as you need to go through the what the type of questions asked in past years. So you can plan in very well, and if you are devoting only 1 to 2 hours for writing practice and revising the past year papers, that is more than sufficient. Remaining time you can invest on your JEE preparation, because apart from 12th, JEE is also important, because you are going to take admission in a prestigious engineering colleges or good colleges or universities. So you have to perform there as well. So this is the best strategy. You have to take a 1 2 hours separately, and remaining time you can give for the board exam preparation. If you really not stronger in a concept, then you can devote the time 50-50%. Means if you are spending 6 hours throughout the day in your study, then 3 hours for your JEE preparation and 3 hours for your board exam preparation. But the basic thing is that a textbook. If you are a CBSE student or a state board student or ICSE student, then textbook are important for a board exam, because always the questions and step-by-step answers need exactly answer from the textbook only. So you should revise textbook, highlight them, revise the concept, prepare your mind maps, and try to write the stepwise as per the board requirements. So that is sufficient. So if you are not strong in your concept, then devote the equal time. If you are stronger and you revise a lot of things concept throughout the last 2 year journey, then you can give 1 to 2 hours for writing practice and past year papers.
Thank you, sir. Those were some wonderful tips. So Chirag, as we all know, NCERT plays an important role in JEE. Could you share some tips and tricks that you followed for preparing from NCERT textbooks?
Thank you for that question. So, yeah, actually, I should have said that before, but yeah, reading NCERT is a good way to study for boards and also for JEE mains, because NCERT is referred in both exams. So that's a perfectly nice way to use time. And yeah, NCERT is quite important for JEE main, as in, I think most us, like many, there are not many questions which are out of NCERT, or I don't think there are even one. So you should definitely read NCERT. Yeah, you should use it as a base material to start gaining your concepts. And also NCERT is very exciting to read about if you read it properly. So that's a nice way to read it as a storybook, or maybe when you're getting bored by other stuff. And so I read inorganic part of NCERT twice, and organic part once in complete detail. So uh, to read efficiently, you can underline the important details. As in organic, you should definitely underline details which you think can be asked on JEE main exam, so that like when you go through it the second time, it will be easy to figure out about what are the main points and just focus on that. So all the relevant Steving stuff, you can highlight most of the important paras. I don't think like it would definitely help you the second or third time you read NCERT. Also, I would recommend that at least for JEE Advanced, don't solely recommend on NCERT, but also focus on more advanced level books, because JEE Advanced has a bit more difficult syllabus. Uh, and then so physics and maths, I didn't refer to NCERT as much. For physics, I referred it when I needed to gain concepts. But for chemistry, NCERT is super helpful. That I would recommend going through it once, twice, thrice, your your capability.
Thank you, Chirag. Those were some super tips that you have shared with the viewers. So, Ajay sir, we keep on emphasizing on NCERT textbooks every now and then. Would you also like to share with the viewers the importance of NCERT when it comes to JEE preparation?
Yeah, NCERT play a very important role to cover the fundamental of particular subjects. So there's a more than 10 lakh students are appearing in JEE exams. Out of them, 2 lakh students are qualifying, 2.5 lakh qualifying for JEE Advanced. So if you are preparing for the both exam for JEE main level, like Chirag said already, it's a basic fundamental book. So you have to prepare for the NCERT and especially focus on a chemistry, as Chirag said, and mostly in inorganic chemistry, all the questions till advanced will also ask from the NCERT. For organic chemistry, for basic fundamental, you have to go on through first NCERT. Physics and chemistry also not recommended for advanced because the questions are very application based and difficult side also. So for physics and chemistry, you have to practice more other application part and what are the content delivered throughout the 2 year in your coaching classes and by your teachers. So you should follow the teachers. But basic level, you have to read the NCRT at a JEE main level. So if you want to score just 150 or 100, then NCRT is sufficient. But if you want to score higher in JEE main as well, then you have to prepare some higher level application part.
Very well said, sir. Next, we also have a good list of questions from our students. And so we'll now try to answer them one by one and as many as possible. Chirag, a lot of students wants to know that since the last 2-3 months before the exam are quite crucial, what all should one revise during this time? What was your last 3 month strategy before the exam, particularly from June to September?
Yeah, great question. So, um, my strategy for the last 3 months was basically doing many model test papers, many tests at the same time as exam to get in the mindset, and then the difficulty of the test should depend on your confidence level. So I like I usually become overconfident after scoring good. So I did a super hard test to keep my confidence level in the right zone, and so that I could like in the actual JEE, I would find myself in a better position. If you are low on your confidence, I would recommend starting with easier tests and then increasing it gradually as you gain your confidence, because the last 3 months is quite crucial, because your state of mind in those months are what determines your state of mind in the exam. So you should definitely focus more there. Also, one of the things was I saved, like for me, I gave JEE 2020, so I saved JEE 2019 and JEE 2018 papers and never looked at them until 2 days before exam. And I took them at the exact same time so that I get in the exact same mindset of how to give JEE. And my score was also pretty similar to what I got in the previous year paper to my actual exam. So this is definitely helpful. Maybe you can save, you can also try some older papers if you have looked towards the recent ones already. And also, given that I had taken many similar J level tests in these 2-3 months, I I analyzed all my errors so that I could tell which type of questions I'm doing wrong, or if there's a particular concept I could read a bit to gain a significant improvement in my errors. So I just took all of my errors and analyzed them via concepts and read the ones which I could improve upon. Most of them were silly mistakes, but then to the more you practice, the better you become in avoiding silly mistakes. So yeah, that was pretty helpful.
Very well said, Chirag. The more you practice, the better you become. So next, student wants to know that after completing the syllabus, how did you complete your revision?
So I completed syllabus pretty early, so I had got a decent amount of time to revise, probably due to the extension of exams to September. So I revised targets. So I didn't have good notes, so I revised targets, and they were definitely better than my notes. So I usually never went back to my notes after taking it the initial time. Also, so instead of revising it by reading, I usually did many questions of different topics from different question banks like Success Magnet, Success Achiever, I guess, and there's also final test series for JEE Advanced and JEE Mains or something. So I used to do questions to stay in touch with the material, and rather than rereading the material, I just used to solve questions so that I could remember the concept while actually practicing. And then also, I actually revised all of my errors, which I did in like last 2 years, or sort of all of the errors, so that I could see where I made mistakes before, whether I have improved and not making the same mistake again, or yeah, just similar thing. So yeah, after syllabus, all I did was test, revision a bit through concise notes, and uh, just analyzing all of my errors. And then the last 2 3 months, I said so. Yeah.
So I want to add here, like suppose any student are preparing and they are getting extra time. So in last 2 3 months, you have to revise only those material which you already covered. Because when जब हम पढ़ते हैं तो काफ़ी चीज़ें जब मल्टीपल टाइम हम उसको रीड करते हैं तो हमें एवरी टाइम हमें पता चलता है दिस इज अ न्यू कंसेप्ट आई अंडरस्टैंड बेटर टुडे. So if exam postponed, extend, then there's a two major thing students should have focus. Number one thing, revise the things you prepared or you covered in last 2 year. First thing. Second thing, already Chirag covered here. If you practice more, then definitely you would be perfect in particular subject or concept. So appearing in test is a very important role. बिकॉज अदरवाइज स्टूडेंट क्या सोचते हैं कि मैं अपने लेवल पे प्रिपेयर करता हूँ और मेरे को टेस्ट नहीं देना. अभी टेस्ट के अंदर सिलेबस दूसरा है, मैं यहाँ पे पार्ट वाइज चल रहा हूँ. जब वहाँ पे पार्ट वाइज चल रहा है तो मैं अपने मॉक की प्रिपेयर कर रहा हूँ या फिर मैं दूसरी सब्जेक्ट पढ़ रहा हूँ. सो बेटर बिकॉज wherever you are preparing in any coaching institute, they have their own strong system. In that particular system they have planned, and there's a lot of brain behind any kind of the strategy. Like in Aakash, Chirag said, like in final test series, there's a national academic team. There's around more than 70 teachers preparing the papers, and they're analyzing the past year papers, and according to that they are putting the quality question in a test. So you should appear in each and every test. And लर्निंग बाय डूइंग इज अ बेटर मेथड, बिकॉज जब आप प्रैक्टिस करेंगे या टेस्ट देंगे तब आपको आपकी गलतियां पता चलेगी, कहाँ पे सिली मिस्टेक है, कहाँ पे आपने स्किप किया है, कहाँ पे कंसेप्चुअल एरर है. उन सबको आपको आप नोट डाउन करेंगे, देखेंगे, रिव्यू करेंगे एंड इंट्रोस्पेक्ट करेंगे कि कहाँ पर एरर होती है एंड कहाँ पे उसको ठीक कर सकते हैं. That is a better way to improve your subject knowledge as well as the application part. So you should appear each and every test. आपका ऑलरेडी लास्ट 2 ईयर से आप कंटिन्यूसली थ्योरी और कंसेप्ट पढ़ रहे हैं. आप जितनी बार पढ़ेंगे या अपने आप को कॉन्फिडेंट नहीं फील करेंगे तो आपको लगेगा कि हर बार दोबारा से उसको पढ़ना चाहिए. बट जब आप टेस्ट देते हैं तब आपको पता चलता है कि रियली में आपको अभी भी कितना आता है और आप कहाँ स्टैंड करते हैं. सो टेस्ट प्ले वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट रोल. तो लास्ट में जितना जो भी टेस्ट होता है, मॉक टेस्ट, पार्ट टेस्ट, then you have to follow the testing system. Number one thing, after appearing the test, ये बच्चा सबसे बड़ी गलती क्या करता है, वो टेस्ट पेपर्स को रिव्यू नहीं करता. जो टेस्ट दे दिया, नो आई डिडंट वांट टू चेक बिकॉज पता नहीं कितना मार्क्स आएगा, मेरे को फिर दूसरे टेस्ट की प्रिपरेशन करने में दिक्कत होगी. बिकॉज ही और सी डू नॉट वांट टू फेस कि मैंने क्या गलती करी है. और जब हम ये अगर फेस करना सीख जाते हैं कि मेरी एरर्स क्या है, तो उसको इम्प्रूव कैसे किया जाएगा उसका वे आपको पता चलेगा. तो आप टेस्ट में अपीयर कीजिए, टेस्ट में अपीयर होने के बाद में आप ये देखिए वहां पर कि गलती कहाँ पर है, कौन से कंसेप्ट में मैं गलती कर रहा हूँ, कौन से कैलकुलेशन मिस्टेक हो रही है, कौन से क्वेश्चंस मैंने छोड़ दिए हैं जो टेस्ट में मैंने अटेम्प्ट नहीं किए. सो बेटर यू हैव टू रिव्यू द पेपर आफ्टर अटेम्प्टिंग. सो आप अगली बार जो है वो बेटर स्ट्रेटजी के साथ में टेस्ट में अपीयर कर पाए. So that is called the error analysis. What error you attempted or you face the problems, then you better understand कि how to solve. आप खुद ही समझ जाएंगे कि उनको ठीक कैसे करना है. So आपको रिव्यू जरूर करना है, टेस्ट में अपीयर होना है, ये बेटर स्ट्रेटजी है इन लास्ट मोमेंट 2 to 3 months.
Those were some wonderful tips, sir. Chirag, with online learning, there are a lot of distractions also. So how did you manage to stay away from such distractions and focus on your goal?
Oh yeah, this is actually an important question. So, actually, for me, it was quite easy to stay away from distractions because I could just not have my mobile. So I didn't have mobile for 2 years, except like for a few days between 6 months. So I did not use social media, and I I I also avoided, yeah, all my social media accounts were inactive for the whole preparation time as in the 2 years, and also getting distracted by YouTube, etc. I could prevent by just having willpower to not go there. But yeah, it's still difficult to do that in an online system. And what I would recommend is, so right now, I could give an example right now. Right now, I just shut down my mobile till the end of the night. Uh, so I don't keep in contact with my friends on a minute by minute basis. Rather, I reply to all messages at the end of the night. So that pretty much helps in avoiding distraction, because the activation energy of picking up mobile is so low and you can get distracted for a lot of time and it's difficult to get back. And also, there are different tricks like the Pomodoro timer, which is like you study for 25 minutes, take a 5 minute break, but try not to have mobile in that 5 minute break, but just walking around room, or like talking with your parents about what food is there today, etc. So this 25 minute and 5 minute keeps you focused for a longer period of time, so that it becomes more efficient to study, and it's less likely to get distracted because you have to focus for exactly this time. That means you are waiting for the rest. Your brain is waiting to get distracted like in the 5 minute zone, and is limited to that, which is quite helpful. So yeah, these were the tricks which I use to not be distracted, and I using right now.
That you said very well. Everyone who is preparing for JEE and is focused on a goal, please stay away from social media if you really want to achieve like Chirag. So concentrate and focus more on your studies and keep distractions at bay. Okay, so moving on, next questions is about following your strict, strict schedule is very important while preparing for JEE. A lot of students wants to know your schedule. Could you please share it with them?
Oh yeah, so actually my schedule, like what works for me usually won't work for you. So as an astronomy person, it's normal for me to be awake the whole night. So the after hours, as in the the later hours in night or the early morning hours, are more efficient for me. So my prime study time were basically those study hours daily. And then uh so you should probably decide what when you work the best, and then use that time to study so that you can work more efficiently. And also I studied like more than 10 hours a day, combining everything, combining school and JEE. Even though there were breaks in between, but definitely more than 10 hours a day in grade 11 and 12, like before the revision started. So yeah, and on weekends too, I used to spend most of the weekends just giving tests, which were either the syllabus test or just mock tests. So that is how I spent my weekends rather than taking a break. And my yearly schedule was basically like my schedule on a year-long basis was I completed my 11th uh, by usually like maybe April of the previous year, and then I completed my 12th by next December or something, and then the rest of the time was used to revise. So I could complete my syllabus early because I had decent exposure to 11th and 12th and 9th and 10th grade itself. And also many Olympiads require special classes at least or special diversions from JEE. So uh, I used to focus on Olympiads like right before the exam. So whenever a main exam like Olympiad KPY or even NTSE in the 10th grade approached, I used to spend most of my time just focused on that. And being focused on a particular exam helped me a lot in getting good marks or rank in that exam. And then I could just come back to JEE after exam. So yeah, whenever each main exam approached, I diverted from JEE a bit to focus on it specifically, which probably extended my preparation, but it was worth it because other Olympiads are also reinforced in JEE at a deeper level in future. So yeah.
So that was great. Next question, which we have is which strategy did you adopt to keep the concept, formulae, and important points in mind without forgetting?
Oh yeah. So actually, so in 10th grade, I hated memorization because I think most people hate memorization. It's a general human nature. So what I did in my initial stages of preparation was uh if I do not remember a formula, I would punish myself in deriving it again, or just punish myself in remembering the derivation, which is quite hard. And because I was lazy enough, I found it was easier to remember the formulas. So that is how I initially remembered formulas. And I also used to feel bad in deriving a formula in an exam. So uh, that is how I forced my brain to remember the formulas. And also, near the end of the exam, I used a technique called spaced repetition, where I see formulas at an exponentially increasing period of time. So I see it like the next day, then the 2 days later, then maybe 5 days later, 11 days, and so on, which increases. So basically, this helped me in remembering the formulas without using most of my time because I could just see a card, remember the formulas, and then just keep it for the next day. There are many apps for this, which is I used for physics, for some of the physics formula, which I usually forget, most of the inorganic formulas, some maths formulas. So that was pretty good. And also, personally, I used to feel like not so good if I could have solved a question in an exam with a formula and without doing so much calculations. So I used to actually remember the results, which are not exactly formulas, but they are helpful and shorten the time more in an actual exam. So I would recommend that please don't hate memorizing because it's super helpful. Even now, I feel whatever things I've revised during the JEE time are pretty helpful in my research and would be pretty helpful in industry itself. So memorization is definitely a good thing. Uh, yeah, and spaced repetition was one of the things I learned very later on during the revision time. So that was decently helpful for me.
So I want to add a few things here. Chirag shared 2, 3 techniques for better learning. So first technique, Chirag explained about the Pomodoro technique. The technique was given by the Francis Celerio. The same problem he was faced at that time. कि एग्जाम के टाइम पर काफी प्रेशर था और पढ़ नहीं पाते हैं बच्चे। सो बेटर कई बार क्या है, फोकस नहीं होते हैं। और आई ऑलवेज यूज टू टीच माय स्टूडेंट कि आपको अगर फोकस, कंसिस्टेंसी और टाइम मैनेजमेंट तीनों फैक्टर अगर अपने आप में डेवलप करने हैं, सो दैट पोमोडोरो टेक्निक इज अ वेरी गुड टेक्निक. I also usually follow the Pomodoro technique, and I teach to my student कि आपको ये follow ही करना है. और it's a very simple basic technique. It's a 25-minute time and then 5-minute break, then again 25-minute time. So how many Pomodoro you are completing throughout the day? Pomodoro, the word is the shape of the tomato in a European country. I can show you the Pomodoro. It's just a type of shape. So I also usually use during my working hours, and I follow the plan, and I am teaching to my students. So this is a very good technique to keep focus you. The tick tick sound of that particular kitchen timer will keep you focus on a particular task. And if you are getting any distraction, you can note down. So I first in my first interaction in 11th class, I teach the student how to manage your time, how to focus. Second technique was the Chirag share here, the forgetting curve. सो व्हाट द थिंग कि जब हम पढ़ते हैं तो पहले दिन जब टीचर ने लेक्चर डिलीवर किया है तो एंड ऑफ द डे तक हमें मेमोराइज होता है, फिर धीरे धीरे वो कम होता जाता है या फिर डिप्लीट होता जाता है ब्रेन से. सो आफ्टर 9 आवर, आफ्टर नेक्स्ट डे, थर्ड डे, सिक्स डे, if you follow the 3-4 cycle only, then definitely that content will retain in your brain for maximum time. तो अगर आप 3-4 टाइम भी स्पेस रिपीटिशन करते हैं, दैट इज अ स्पेस रिपीटिशन टेक्निक. सो दैट इज आल्सो गिवन बाय द फेमस साइकोलॉजिस्ट. सो फॉरगेटिंग कवर इज अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग. तो आप जब फॉर्मूला लर्न करते हैं, रीड करते हैं, तो आप भूलते चले जाते हैं. तो आप फिक्स कर लीजिए आज जो पढ़ा है उसको कल आपको जस्ट क्विकली रिवाइज करना है. आफ्टर थर्ड डे आपको अगेन क्विकली जस्ट रिवाइज करना है. इफ सपोज वेरी फर्स्ट डे यू स्पेंड द 6 आवर, then you can give the around 30 to 60 minutes on a next day, and similarly 15 to 30 minutes on a third day, and similarly 15 to 30 minutes or 15 minutes on a sixth day. So if you revise or if you follow this kind of the space repetition technique, तो जो आपने पढ़ा है वो long time तक आपके brain में sustain करता है, retain रहता है, आपको याद रहेगा वो. Apart from that, our brain is usually get the maximum you can say signal from the images. So images give the 60,000 faster time of retention in our brain. So जब भी आप पढ़ते हैं तो आप उस टाइम पे माइंड मैप टेक्निक फॉलो कर सकते हैं. इट्स अ ग्रेट टेक्निक इन्वेंट बाय द टोनी बुजान. सो ही इन्वेंट दिस टेक्निक कि जब भी आप पढ़ते हैं, आप पूरा चैप्टर स्टडी करते हैं, आप उसके अंदर जो की पॉइंट्स है आप उनको हाईलाइट कर लीजिए. लाइक सपोज इफ एनी चैप्टर इज काइनेटिक्स या थर्मोडायनेमिक्स इज चैप्टर, थर्मोडायनेमिक्स सेंटर पॉइंट है, उसके की पॉइंट कौन कौन से हैं, जो आप कंसेप्ट पढ़ रहे हैं उनको आप स्पेस रिपीटिशन में आप रीड करते जाएंगे और आप एक 1 पेजर आप अपने लेवल पे बना सकते हैं, उनको कलर्ड हाईलाइट कर सकते हैं. दैट इज अ माइंड मैप टेक्निक. यू कैन गूगल इट वेरी इजीली, विल अंडरस्टैंड. So that mind map technique will help you. So these are the 3-4 technique. Number 1, Pomodoro technique for the time management and consistency and focus. Number 2 is the space repetition, that is a forgetting curve will help you, and the mind mapping is again will help you. So these are the technique to improve your learning. एंड यू कैन, अब क्या होता है, आप एक बार पढ़ते हैं, 10 बार पढ़ते हैं, भूलते चले जाते हैं. अगर आप एक बार पढ़ करके टेक्निक को फॉलो करते हैं तो वो आपका टाइम सेव होता है. मीन्स इफ यू आर स्पेंडिंग 300 आवर्स, सपोज अगर मैं 10 आवर्स की बात करता हूँ, जैसे अगर चिराग ने एक्सप्लेन किया कि यू यूजुअली स्पेंड द 10 आवर फॉर द सब स्टडी, तो एक महीने में आपने 300 घंटे स्पेंड किए हैं. तो 300 आवर्स आप स्पेंड करने के बाद में भी वो कंटेंट भूल जाते हैं और अगेन आपको सेम 300 आवर वापस से स्पेंड करना है. तो बेटर ये है कि उस 300 आवर्स को इस टाइप से स्ट्रेटेजिकली यूटिलाइज कीजिए कि टेक्निक के थ्रू अगली बार आपको केवल 30 आवर्स ही लगते हैं उस कंप्लीट 300 आवर्स के कंटेंट को रिवाइज और रीड और मेमोराइज करने के लिए. सो बेटर दिस टेक्निक विल हेल्प यू. दीज आर द साइंटिफिक लर्निंग टेक्निक. सो यू शुड फॉलो. You can Google if you're not getting detail anywhere. So it's a very good technique suggested by the Chirag.
Thank you so much, Ajay sir and Chirag, for sharing these wonderful techniques. Students, if you are not penning them down, you should. These techniques will definitely give an extra edge to your preparation. So next question, Chirag, what kept a lot of students actually they're preparing during the lockdown, this because of the pandemic situation. So they want to know what kept you motivated during the lockdown and focus on your goal.
Oh yeah, so basically I had completed JEE syllabus quite early and I had revised it multiple times. So actually like far from the exam, when exam was postponed kind of indefinitely in the March April area, I studied topics which are beyond JEE syllabus, but what I like to study to like still be like doing some academic stuff, but not exactly JEE, so that I don't get bored by JEE preparation very near to the exam time. So in the March, April, or very far from the exam date, I studied some stuff beyond JEE, which actually helped me in JEE through different ways. But when the exam approached, I diverted back to JEE so that I can focus on it like during the last stretch, which is quite important. And yeah, just the love of academics for me helped me stay focused towards it. And yeah, doing academic interests which are not exactly JEE but might be helpful in it are quite good, but don't don't do new stuff for JEE like right before the exam. But because it's me right now, I think the only thing which kept me motivated was just that the exam is near, like in September, so I should fully focus on it.
Thank you for motivating the students during these difficult times. Moving on, a lot of students face backlogs. So they want to ask, did you also face backlogs during your preparation? And if yes, how did you clear them without disturbing your schedule?
Yeah, definitely. So I don't know if backlogs are like are standard in everyone's preparation, but for me, backlogs were relatively not relatively common, but they were I had many backlogs because I used to focus on different Olympiads while preparation. So, and backlogs are quite hard. They are, so I don't know if you could cover them up, but I have never cleared my backlogs till now. So it's pretty hard. What I can tell is try not to have a backlog. Uh, that's the only thing which I could give from my experience, because if you have something to do which you're postponing, the JEE preparation is so dense enough that you probably won't get the time to revise or to do it again or to do it sometime later on. So I would just recommend to try not to having backlog, and even if you think that you could possibly do it later on, I can assure you that it's super hard to do that. So just please avoid leaving things for future.
Okay, so very well said, Chirag. So please do not procrastinate. Whatever you need to learn, learn it today, because as said, tomorrow never comes. So it's better to do whatever you can do today itself. So moving on, a lot of students are asking, how can they strengthen their concepts of physics? And is physics only about problem solving, or there is more to it?
Um, so I think to strengthen the concepts of physics, after you're done with the base level, which is NCRT and maybe targets, you could probably go on to like previous year papers of NSEP, which is the first stage of Olympiads, or even similar, like more application based paper, because they have questions which test your test your concept of physics as at a very deeper level. So solving those problems helped me a lot. And physics is more problem solving than the other subjects, but as I said before, memorization is important. So if you remember the formula of like elastic collision or inelastic collision, you could save so much time in solving a similar question in exam and not deriving all the formulas in the exam. So there's also a factor of memorization, which is more in physics than maths. So yeah, remembering formulas, remembering result was helpful for me. And then uh, to to ensure your concepts, you should probably try solving difficult questions, which are available in many books. So you could refer to them and solve hard questions, maybe more towards Olympiad oriented questions, so that you get your concepts right.
Very well said, Chirag. So, students, I hope with these tips you would find physics a little intimidating. Next question which we have is regarding chemistry. Student wants to know how can they study and prepare for organic and inorganic chemistry.
Yeah. For organic chemistry, I would say that it requires a lot of practice before you get to start to get things right in it. So I think more like in 11th, the GOC, I spent most of the time figuring out like what is going on and then solving many questions too. Because there are also many edge cases which one has to figure out, and that only is gained by experience. So I would say that to learn organic chemistry, you have to read many times, not many times, but for read many different amount of materials and then solve different questions and figure out why the answer is the answer, so that you can say how the mechanism is working, or which factor is dominating here and why. For inorganic, it is decently memorization based. So space repetition, underlining things in NCRT or different books, and yeah, space repetition is accompanied by flashcards so that you can see it and then uh, just remember the formula by that. Uh, Maybe in inorganic, I think intuition is less, but if you solve enough questions, intuition might help in some brand new questions. So I would recommend solving many questions of inorganic. You probably won't get many of them in the initial time. I didn't get many of them in the initial attempt, but yeah, not understand, memorizing it after solving the question, verifying it through Google, and then uh, seeing relevant facts, and then doing the question later on to see if you have remembered was helpful for me.
Thank you for the wonderful tips, Chirag. So, as we can see, a lot of you've already mentioned that one of the preparation strategy for JEE was that you started early. So, you started in class 9th with Aakash Foundations. So, what were the benefits of starting early?
So as I've said before, starting early helped me to get, because ninth and 10th is basically uh like a stepping stone towards 11th and 12th respectively. So 9th syllabus coincides with 11th syllabus at a lower level, and 10th syllabus coincides with 12th level. So while studying for 9th, I could go a step up and get the basic idea of 11th syllabus and respectively for 12th syllabus, so that I could when I was actually in 11th and 12th, I could sail through easily and have not have difficulty, because I'm not learning the concept for the first time, but I'm learning it on a more deeper level right now because it's my second relearning session. So that was pretty helpful for me. And also in ninth standard, so I prepared for, I mean, there are not many competitive exams. So I prepared for Junior Science Olympiad. And Junior Science Olympiad has syllabus of 11th and 12th without calculus. So, uh, I think Junior Science Olympiad has pretty similar level to like basics of 11th and 12th JEE. So, uh, that helped, the Olympiad preparation helped me a lot because I got the motivation to study 11th and 12th and 9th. So that was pretty helpful. And uh, also I think that 9th and 10th syllabus is has fewer topics than 11th and 12th because the later on are quite vast. So maybe some topics which are not related can be grabbed down, and that helps in completing the revision early later on. So yeah, those were the fact that I could study more material initially and revise it in a deeper fashion later on helped me a lot in starting early.
Very well said, Chirag. So, all those students who are still wondering whether or not to start their preparation, you should start right now. Starting early has a lot of benefits for you. It develops your skills and your, basic fundamental knowledge early on, which helps you when you're preparing for competitive exams like JEE and NEET. Also, even if it is lockdown situation, you can start today with Aakash Hybrid that offers you the best of classroom and online learning, and it also gives you the flexibility to move to classroom learning later on when the classrooms reopen as per the government directives. So next, Chirag, a lot of students also want to know what should be the state of mind inside the exam hall and how to keep it stable.
Well, uh, yeah, exam hall is a decently stressful time. Uh, I mean, I can't directly answer what should be the state of mind inside exam hall, but so what I did have to an optimal state of mind was to have practice tests which are not just model tests because there might be some deviation, but actual previous year papers right before the exam of like each competitive exam, NSCs, KVPY, etc. At the same time so that I could set my mind and I could set my mind to what I should be the next day or similar situations. So most of the mock tests were given at a pretty similar time, waking up at pretty similar time so that I know what it is to wake up early on an exam day. And there's also the another factor of traveling, which is not there probably in online situation. But so yeah, just giving the exam at the same time was pretty helpful. Maybe you could ask tips from your teacher on remaining focused and calm during exam. And also you should be prepared for any unforeseen incident which could happen in an exam, like just not finding a seat for a long time is quite hectic when the exam is near. So you should definitely prepare yourself either by artificially creating such incident or giving enough exams that probabilistically some incident would occur. So these are, you could ask your teachers for more advice about remaining focused and calm during exam.
So Chirag, I think there's a lot of questions we have discussed here, but out of them now you are studying in MIT, so a lot of students want to discuss what is your experience. They want to ask the question, what is your experience at MIT currently? So you have a very limited time of 1 minute only, so you can explain.
Oh, so first my MIT t-shirt, and then uh so for my fall semester, the first semester was online, but the spring semester I actually came to campus, and it's so good. Currently it's 8:30 a.m. here, so I woke up pretty early, and then the weather is super nice. I like cold weather. It's not hot here, so it's good. And my first year at MIT was pretty good. I took a lighter load of classes so I could roam out more. And yeah, just sitting around in the library, just at this institution seems quite awesome. And also talking with some high-level professors is like an honor in itself. So yeah, that is my personal experience at MIT in 1 minute.
Thank you, Chirag. That actually looks very wonderful, and we are all very proud of you, the entire nation. Thank you so much, Ajay sir and Chirag, for joining us for today's webinar. The webinar has been super informative and motivating for students.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
So we would also like to thank everyone for attending the session and particularly for all the great questions. We will appreciate if you could take out some time and share your valuable feedback regarding today's session. You'll find the link to the feedback form in the description box below. Thank you again for attending today's webinar. We hope you stay safe and healthy, and we look forward to joining you again soon for another enlightening session. Take care.